Right, hello again, YouTube. It's been a little while since I've recorded. Although you guys hopefully shouldn't notice any disruption in the uploads at all. I'm trying to do these a few days ahead of running out of the of the last batch. So we're back with Kerbal Space Program. It's been a little while for me. I did have a quick check up on where we got to. I believe the last thing we did was launching the space hotel at last. I was going to say, do we have any contracts at the moment? We do. Bring 15. It's two different things, but it's basically bring 15 tourists to the space hotel. Although, interestingly, 3 of them are only supposed to go up for a short time. The other 12 are permanent. Let's have a quick look at what this contract's going to pay us. So know what we're working with budget-wise. Not a huge amount for that one, quite a bit more for that one. Okay, so we need to bring up 15 tourists to our station, and we need to have a way to bring at least 3 of them back. The others we can leave up there until we get contracts to bring them back. We don't gain anything for bringing them back automatically, and I believe you do get return contracts. So we need at least a 3-man re-entry vehicle. So we'll probably just get straight to it. We'll probably start with a Mark 1-3 command pod. That will bring back the 3 that are supposed to come back. We're going to need parachutes. Go through radio mount because we're going to need a docking port on the top, because we need to be able to dock this to things. Add to category, load one in it. I'm going to not attach it to anything yet, because what I'm going to do first is LCS tank. We're going to need monopropellant anyway. And for the sake of getting them aligned neatly, I'm going to put them on here so they have a nice straight alignment. Oh, do we have 5 on? Yeah. Good. Right, heat shield, 2.5 meters. This is nothing particularly too fancy compared to what we built before. I do want to quickly check what we should be calling it. R10. New shuttle 15-3. 15 up, 3 back. Now we could potentially do some kind of space plane later. But I don't believe we have much. Yeah, we haven't got anything like the right sort of technology for doing that at the moment, so... for now, it's just a rocket. I should also probably sort by size. That's probably why I can't find anything. That does tend to help. Right, we need to bring up 12 people, so we need... at least 3. 4, so we could do... how big is that? 3 of these. Allow crew passage? I think we'll still be able to transfer crew. Even if we can't, they can EVA across if they have to. We'll do this one white. I know the rest of the things have been metals, but we'll match this with the rest of the craft. Right. So we have that. We will now need a bit of fuel for manoeuvring around. Could potentially even do an RCS pad one with an orbital manoeuvring cluster, but we'll go for fuel, liquid fuel. Oodle. There we go. Yeah, it's not much, but that should be enough to... Actually, we might put it a bit bigger because we might have to fine-tune an orbit a little bit. Give it a bigger fuel tank. Depends a bit on how well MechDib's autopilot does it, or Rendezvous autopilot does on launch. We'll also add a nose cone, because we can... You don't actually have to have a docking port on the bottom of something to decouple it, so if we add a nose cone, we'll be able to ditch that. It'll just make us a bit more aerodynamic on launch. Right, we have 1575 dB, so we probably want about another 3.5 maybe. We'll do a launch stage, and we'll do maybe some solids on the side, strap on solids to do the rest of the trip. For a mainsail, is that going to be able to lift this? Yeah. Yeah, we'll fill the spare. And then we'll add some... do we want those, or do we want the... We'll go for the lighter ones. Not going to have enormous boosters on it. Bumper's going to be enough to give it any decent kick? No. What about Pollux? Yeah, that'll do it. Let's grab another nose cone. That's not big enough. This isn't a tremendously cheap flight, but given it should be able to do both contracts, it will still save us a little bit of money. Can we adjust that? Is there like a... No, as I say, there's like a nose pointing inwards version. There is not. Now, I think one of the things I remember us having a thing with before was separating away solid boosters. Did we ever get... We did get Separatrons. Okay. I can't remember if this is our first use of these, but I'll explain them as if it is. So, when these boosters separate, we don't want them smashing into the rocket, because that will cause problems, basically. Simple as. And Separatrons are small solid rocket boosters that basically just push the larger boosters away. They don't weigh very much, they don't cost very much. So, when we decouple, these boosters will fire, and they'll just sort of lift the boosters up and over, and give us plenty of time for the rest of the rocket to get out of the way. So go to our normal. I usually recommend this. Our 3-point struts for the strap-on boosters, just to make sure they shouldn't move around much. And I suppose we'll probably want some fins as well, won't we? Put those in the middle on the stage we're not going to lose, and then we just need some stability towers, launch stabilizers. I can't even think what you call them. Launch clamps. That's the word. Right, that should be good to go, I think. No, Doug, you're screwing things up again. RCS and power, actually. I'm forgetting bits here. It will probably want at least some solar power, because I don't know how long it's going to be up there. It's not exactly a heavy component anyway, so... Pro tip, if you switch to local, you can move things based on which direction is there forwards, not the world's, well, forwards. Or back. Right. Oh, are we going... I think we're actually going to need a little something else, actually, because we don't have a pilot on board. We haven't built it with pilot space, so what we'll do is we'll add a remote guidance core and an antenna. Because we have a full satellite network now, we can launch things like this and they won't just lose signal. There we go. Right. Electrical power, there should be some storage for in these, I think. Oh no, maybe not. In these? Yeah, okay. So these to metal, I might actually add an extra battery as well. It's getting a little bit heavily built, but hey, we want it to work, we want it to be reliable. I've been learning from playing with a friend on a different save that sometimes it is worth overbuilding them a bit, even if they cost a bit more. On the grounds of at least it'll work. Right. Let's go. It shouldn't have much electrical use anyway, but there'll be a little bit from having the core. We should have plenty of everything else. Plenty of monopod. Try look for docking. Shouldn't be a huge amount, and there's some extra in the command pod. Oh. Well, while I appreciate it giving us this, I forgot we need to unload the Kerbal crew as well, and we'll set the route part to the drone command. Okay. You guys go. Wait, no, hang on. I'm forgetting these are our... I thought these were the generic ones. So no, they're our guys. Let's also load, specifically, the 3 main ones into the pods so we know where they are. The 3 that we have to bring back separately. So it is Calrod, Kerpoint, and Ares B. Let's put them at the top anyway. Excellent. Okay. No. I know you want to load our actual crew, but we're loading tourists into this thing. Okay. Now we're good to go. Are we going to lose signal mid-launch? I just realised we don't have an always active antenna. I mean, we've got the probe core. They have an antenna in them, I think. We'll give it a quick try. If we have to relaunch, we have to relaunch. Won't be too bad. They're already on board. How do I? They're already on board. Yeah, okay. I think we're... Yeah, they're all on board anyway. Right. Not rendezvous autopilot. Right, where is the space station? Reporter. We need to rename that. Yeah, was it supposed to be Hotel California? Altitude 360? Is that what it's at? 360, okay. Sent guidance. 360. Launch to rendezvous. Gauge autopilot. And you can auto stage to stage 2. And you can auto warp. You're probably going to need to be able to do that. Yeah, I don't want to be making my my audience sit here for 48 minutes just watching a countdown. Could be a good April Fool's episode, but I slightly missed the ball on that one, so... Oh shoot, I totally did. I never even twigged on that I could have done an April Fool's. Oh well. We'll do what we can. April Fool's was a bit... Not a huge amount this year. Except for ironically enough for one thing that was like, oh, that looks kind of cool. I hope they actually do that. And it's like, oh. Oh, they actually are. Oh, cool. Up we go. He's a nice, steady, stable rocket at the moment. The only thing I have to hope is that the solids don't push it over the altitude, but I suppose considering it's 360, that shouldn't be an issue. And that hopefully it... Oh, it's trying to cut the throttle. And it can't. Okay. I think our rendezvous is going to be a little off. Oh, are we going to flip? Oh, yep. Back to the hangar. More fins needed. Let's stick some more higher control fins onto this. Right, that should do it. Again, some YouTubers might always get their missions right first time, but the reality is, I reckon for most people, that you'll be doing a lot of this kind of like, okay, try a bit, nope, didn't quite work, needs to change a little bit. It's usually not even anything big, but you'll just find that you often just have to change little bits and pieces. Kind of interesting that it tumbled like it did. It was a bit of an unusual maneuver, but... Right, launch the rendezvous, engage autopilot. Wait for time warp. Let's sort of ramp up a little bit so it doesn't miss it. I think they programmed it because they know people's computers might take a few seconds to respond, or the game might take a few seconds to respond, so... They make it ramp up and ramp down a bit. Makes it a little bit slower, but considering it makes it more reliable, it's worth it. Gotta strike that balance between it. Works well enough. And whatever the other thing was that I forgot what I was going to say. So we're doing well. But yes, we're ascending again. Hopefully with a bit more control this time. Hopefully it doesn't try and flip. It was trying to throttle down. Which is maybe a slight problem. It might mean that it slightly misses its rendezvous, but it usually puts you fairly close at least. Yeah, there it goes. It's trying to throttle off, but it can't. Oh, it's not that. It's the signal. Okay, so I was right. Well, right. I guessed right anyway. That it's like, yeah, okay, we do need an antenna on the side. You might not even need those extra fins, but we'll leave them there for now. They don't hurt. Yep, I found out why the signal has been so much harder to do as well throughout this playthrough. And I guess it's because I'd forgotten about this. We have remote tech installed, which was the original... it was like a mod that originally, once upon a time, added the whole mechanic of needing satellite networks at all. It's still around, it still gets updated. And that has made the... That's why we had a bit more trouble with the network, because it's overhauled some of the mechanics for it. It makes it a bit stricter. There's only, I guess at the moment, one transmitter station on Kerbal, and that is the Space Center. But it's fine. As you can see, we've got our little pentagonal network of transmits. Little satellites. Alright, here we go again. Temp 3. Attempt 2, Electric Boogaloo, was the last one, so we're having to try again. Attempt 3, why me? Yes, in theory, we get to past about 5,000 and we don't lose signal this time because we've got an antenna that's actually exposed and working. You have to be a bit careful with the antennas because, again, they can... This one shouldn't. The solid ones shouldn't, but they can indeed break if they're pushed too far in terms of, like, stress in the atmosphere. It's very easy to break, for example, these ones from flying too fast, these red and white ones. Checking we still got the tourist crew, but I believe we do. All packed in there. Ready for their trip. Yeah, it's not throttling down this time either. I reckon the throttle down was because of the signal loss, not actually because it wanted to. So we might even make it to rendezvous in the right spot. The trick's going to be whether it overshoots or not, but I think we'll be alright. In a moment, we have the solid rockets ejection. This way, find out if the Septrons are working okay. Oh, we're getting spicy. Hey, there we go. That's exactly what it was supposed to do. Oh, perfect. Okay, now we cruise along on our mainsail till we get this up to 360. See, by the time we get to that, it should be at about the same. We should be there to rendezvous with it. Get ready to manually deploy these just to make sure they actually do go up. The thing is, as the rocket shakes a bit, it can sometimes be hard to right-click on things. Yeah, we're supposed to be getting Kerbal Space Program 2 later this year. I can't remember if I've said or not, but we had some more news recently about it. It's still looking pretty good, so I'm hoping it turns out alright. I think it's supposed to be autumn. Don't know when exactly, but they've been showed off some new stuff. I believe interstellar travel is going to be a part of the game, but just by default, better support for really long burns for sort of interstellar maneuvers and things. There's a fair bit they're doing with it. Activate the antenna. To make sure we definitely have enough range. Electric charge. I suppose electric charge actually might not even be as much of an issue as I was thinking of it might be, because I've realised, oh, yeah, we will lose electrical power when we go into the shadow of Kerbin, but we're at a way higher altitude than I normally launch to, so that shadow period is going to be way shorter. Because we're further away from it, the shadow's only going to pass over us for a very short time, so it should actually be alright, I think. As long as we don't accidentally point those solar panels completely away from Kerbal, which is, yeah, I was going to say, which is somewhere. It's up there somewhere, I don't know where, but it's up there. Yeah, could it be? I've overbuilt once again. Entirely possible. I thought we might have to do some orbital maneuvers, so I'd given us plenty of extra fuel. But apparently we only have a very short circularization burn. Like, 402 is really small for that. Is it a bit more efficient higher up? Is it because we've already got more speed? It's probably because we've already got more speed in general, I guess. Maybe I should consider these launches more often. I don't know if it's actually saved as anything, but it feels like it might have. Yeah, it's another thing I'll have to dig out at some point, the old Delta V chart, because probably after this mission, we'll probably look into, for the next thing, we might look into some interplanetary contracts. We might look into actually leaving the Kerbin system, which we haven't done yet. It was something I was actually quite aware of in our original series, that we'd yet to actually, intentionally at least, leave the Kerbin system and go out for another planet. You might want a bit of an interstellar, like, relay satellite. Might put one of the polar orbits, so it always has signal pretty much. And then build a probe to go out a long way. Because we're going to need to start gathering science for other planets. We're going to get a little bit from the lab, and we could land some labs on, like, Nimbus and that, but more interesting, I'd say, if we actually leave the system and do some stuff out there. Right, we are separated by 152 kilometers. It's not stellar, but it's not bad. Rendezvous autopilot. Okay, yeah, it is going to have to do some maneuvers, so it's probably a good thing we bought extra. How are we looking for monopropellant? If I start using a little bit of it to speed things up here. Not tremendous. I might turn it off after this maneuver. I was thinking it'd speed us up a bit, because spinning around on our reaction wheels is kind of slow, but we don't have a tremendous amount, and we are going to need some for docking, so I may indeed say, we're rationing it. Oh yeah, I forgot we've got some extra docking pots on the pod. RCS thrusters on the pod. Gimbal a bit full, but thrust limited down. Yeah, probably best to burn a little slower, because as you saw, that caused a few problems. Even the RCS wasn't able to quite compensate, so turn it down a little bit, guys. Just throttle it back a bit. Yeah, let's say Minotaur. What's it called? The mainsail is quite a beefy engine to do a roll like this. So here, what we can fizz warp, speed things up a little bit on this on the spin. Yeah, Alt greater than or larger than on your keyboard is how you do a fizz warp while you're in space. You can do it in space. I know it's not that well known. Figured I'd throw that one out there. A little bit of a mini tip. We're not quite as high above Kerbal as I thought. I thought we'd be in the shadow for not very long at all. We are going to be in it for less than normal. What the Christ is going on? Whoa, whoa. What are you doing? Rendezvous autopilot's being weird. On intercept course. What? We haven't got it targeted. Yeah, we have. We have. What am I? Oh, that's transmit. No. No. Wrong button, Doug. Boy. Okay, okay. It's fine. We'll transfer back. Transfer back and we'll fix this. Yeah, there's the crew quarters. 6-2. I don't know why Meg's being weird about this one, but we'll lock up the gimbal a bit more as well. Let's move that all the way back. Right. Right, get rid of the maneuver. Set the crew quarters. No, not switch to. Set it as target. Okay, I think it's going to correct us basically so we meet up about here. Or maybe there, I don't know. Let's just try it and let's just let it do its thing. So quick save. We may have to revert this launch. If so, I'll skip through the launch bit. I don't know why it's being weird like this. I don't know why it's acting like the rocket's off balance as well. Like we've got one extra antenna that weighs like nothing. I guess we'll disable the fins. Is there wibbling and causing problems? Oh, that's the other thing we could do. We can... Yeah, get rid of that. That's in the way. Ding. 10 light bulb on. Apologies, passengers. We're having some slight technical difficulties. Yeah, because it's saying about trying to match velocities at approach. But are we even on approach for it? Oh, it's over there. It is really close, actually. Yeah, maybe it's doing it here. Close to target, plotting intercept. Okay. Seems to be working now. I don't know what happened before, but telling Mekjeb to chill out a little bit seems to have helped in limiting the rocket's capabilities a little bit. I might even be tempted to quick save just in case. We're to ditch that heavy extra booster. Switch to the Poodle. We don't need. There's not much fuel left in there. It's going to be in the way at present. I'll make it as a bit lighter and easier to maneuver, and it makes sure that booster is not left anywhere near the station. Rather than this, the cruise shell does appear to be mostly working okay. It's a little overbuilt, but yeah, it's manoeuvring a lot more smoothly now, at least. It's going to fine-tune its manoeuvre. I think it got knocked off a little bit by the new engines, maybe. A little late on the last manoeuvre. Try to fine-tune itself down. So I think we're really close at encounter anyway. Oh, unless that's after its manoeuvre's done, maybe. So why it's doing all these sort of micro maneuvers though. The thing is, I know some of the professional players will just say, "I'll just learn how to do it manually." It's like I'm not a fan of doing a lot of these bits manually. I'm not really very good at them. I don't find it particularly fun. Mekjeb is a good substitute most of the time, but Mekjeb will occasionally do weird things. So it's sometimes indeed helpful to know how to override it. But at the moment, Rendezvous is not something I'm very good at doing that with, or at all. So I'm just sort of having to let it work out whatever the heck it thinks it's doing, and make it work. It seems to be going okay now. We are drifting closer. I can see it is adjusting its angle very slightly each time, and then letting it drift closer, which is all right. I can deal with that. So it wouldn't be very good for a real rocket. Most real rocket engines can only ignite a certain amount of times, and by a certain amount of times I mean usually somewhere between once and maybe like 5. And most of them are once. Some of them could do more than that, but they usually have to plan their burns a lot more. Now, you do get certain types of rocket fuel, like monopropellant, actually, ironically enough, where they are pretty much stable for like transit, so they can basically be used as many times as needed, or ignited as many times as needed, because the engine ignites by mixing the two fuels. They just explode when they're mixed. Alright, we're coming up to the station a little quick. Please don't smash the space hotel. I need this. Right. Okay, I think we've done it. Well, there is the hotel. We've made it at any rate. This is... Once you've got this close, you're fine. I'll just turn the autopilot off. Control from here. Alright, let's find our docking port, which is set as the target. I think the station is rotating to face inwards on the planet. What we're actually going to do, we're going to switch over to it. And we're going to tell its smart ASS just kill rotation. Because if it's trying to stay rotated to face the planet, it will actually rotate fast enough that it gets in the way and actually makes your docking impossible, or just really, really slow and awkward, and use up all your monopropellant. Well, speaking of using up all my monopropellant, geez, Mekjeb, take a bit of care. We need some of that. It's already used up a lot of it. We're going to need a little bit just to pull away from the station, in theory, so Mind you, we can refuel. We can leach fuel off the station if we need to. We don't want to leach much. If anything, we'll probably transfer some the other way. But yeah, so we'll make sure to put these three, Carrod, Kerpoint, and Brisby in a specific point in the station. We'll then time warp for the 4 hours that they want to be up there, and bring those guys back. The others want to stay for a bit longer, so again they don't actually have a specific return date at the moment. So we'll maybe also need to have a larger crew return ship at some point. This is obviously meant to bring most of them up there, but yeah, we will need to bring more home than at the moment. I think Space Jank was one suggestion I'd had, even in the last episode, as a potential way to bring them back. Our old space camp, it is capable of landing about 12 Kerbals at once, I believe. Maybe even more. It might even be the same as this, actually, in terms of crew capacity. But it can land the whole lot. But it is I believe it's a heavier rocket, so I think this is the cheaper way to do this particular mission. But if we did real solar system, Space Jank would actually probably be the cheaper way to do it, because, of course, you can tool your designs and get them a bit cheaper. Alright. Okay, this is really burst firing with the with the monopropellant. Of course, you have to account for the fact that the planet's a circle, so the drift is a little bit weird. But we are indeed moving the right way, it would seem. Yeah, sometimes one trick you can do is to have the station point at the thing you're docking with. That can make it a bit easier, especially with manual docking. But for this, as long as it's staying straight, this should be fine. And of course, you can use your main engines for docking. It's very risky, but if you need a quick kick and you're facing the right way, you can do that. Or if you've got no maneuvering thrusters, it can be a very primitive way of docking, but you might have to like very quickly spin around and face the other way. I definitely recommend having proper thrusters for this. We'll gain access to some more SciFo ones later on. We might even have them already, I'm not sure, but you can actually dock with ion thrusters. They're not very high power, but of course for docking, that's sort of par for the course. And they're very fuel efficient. You don't need to bring extra monopropellant if your ship's already powered by xenon or whatever. Argon, whatever fancy noble gas you've chosen to use. Okay, coming into dock. Got force roll enabled. This is what this station was built for. Or this adapter was built for, aside from being a lab. Hey! Docking signal green. As they would put it in Homeworld. Right. Radial minus. Yes. Control from here. For the moment. I believe that should point us inwards towards the planet. Right. Let's get some crew transferring down. The game is slowing down a little bit. It is quite a big construction, but it's not too bad. Right. Transfer crew. Carol. We're going to put them in the bottom, like, cupola? Is that the word for it? I think that's the word for it. Transfer crew. I was going to say, where's transfer crew? And Erisby. Oh, Erisby? So they are on board. Oh, they count as being on board already. Okay, cool. And they're on board as well. But we need to leave the others on the station. So we're going to transfer them to the upper section. Obviously, they're welcome to have a wander around the hotel. There's no one else in it at the moment, so they've got plenty of space. Or, you know, plenty of space for space station at any rate. Oh boy, I need to sneeze. If I suddenly sneeze down the thing, you know why. My nose, why? It is... Well, I suppose it'd be probably spring anywhere in the world, unless I'm going crazy, but it is spring over in the UK, and hay fever is starting to feel like it's picking up a little bit. Definitely felt a little under the weather in some respects. But again, I shall try not to sneeze and cough my way through these episodes. I say, coughing my way through this episode. I should probably have to grab a drink between between this recording and the next one. Right, 2 modules unloaded. I guess if we were playing with life support mods, we'd also probably be bundling a whole bunch of life support materials with this launch. That's kind of how they do it on the real ones. They'll like send new resources up with each flight. They'll Not sure what happened there. Transfer crew? That was weird. I couldn't... Okay, I don't know what happened the first time. I couldn't transfer and I couldn't cancel either, but it sort of wore off. And last one. Right. Quick save. Time warp time. The orbit is starting to get a bit filled up with crumbs of... It's a space rocket. Alright. I hope they have enjoyed their stay. You know, only the best. The best views of space and the planet below. Here, right. We now need to, I believe we put them at the bottom? Yes. Transfer them into the landing module. Oh. Transfer crew. Oh, maybe it did work. It just did it so quick I didn't realise. Right, who have we got on board? How do you transfer crew? Carol and Erisby. No, we're missing someone. We're missing Carol, Kerpoint, and Erisby. Where the heck? Hello? Where did they go? And who's on board? Carol and Erisby. Where is the others gone? Kerpoint. Oh, there's Kerpoint. He's in there. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Maybe it's a misclick. Oh, now we can't transfer again. He's a cursed boy. Is there a bug? Can I? Oh, is it? Because I've got something leaning on. Oh, I might have something leaning on my keyboard. That might be causing problems. Alright, Kerpoint. Transfer crew. It's being very weird. I don't know why. Okay. Erisby, Carrod, Kerpoint, Erisby. Okay, they're all aboard. Space station is rotating to its correct angle. Right. Save. Undock. And we shall manually eject. Okay, now we just have to recover these 3. Should, in theory, be reasonably easy. See you, station. It's been fun. just have to drop the orbit low enough to ideally put us down in daytime, maybe over water. That'll do. It could be water, could be land, don't know, but anyway. Warp until we get to the atmosphere, then we'll burn full retrograde, use the rest of our fuel up and slow us down a bit more if we need to. We could even try and aim for the space center. If we try and dead stop, maybe we could drop down really close to the space center. That wouldn't be a bad idea, actually. Or at least relatively close to the space center anyway, compared to where we'd be ending up. Seeing as we're flying overhead of it and all. Okay, I think we might end up on the next continent, but that's fine. I don't know what they're called. I don't know if they have names for the continents on Kerbin, but I don't think they do. And again, there's no other signs of life apart from the space center, so I guess it makes sense. And a handful of monoliths and I think the two other space stations on the planet. Yeah, Woomerang and the desert launch site. I have a feeling Woomerang's meant to be for like polar launch or something. I think it's... I don't know if it's more efficient or it's just on that inclination already. I'm not quite sure, but... I had a feeling I'd heard something like that at some point a while back. We might as well burn up everything, monopropellant, regular fuel, the whole lot. Okay, it should switch to burning monopropellant once the main engines are burned out. Yeah, there we go. Fizz warp that because it's taking a while. Yeah, we're still speeding up anyway because we're falling. Nearly through our monopropellant and should be just in time to hit the atmosphere. Alright. And for the sake of, we might as well try and recover them. Retract these. Yeah, we've still got the antenna on board, so we should be okay for landing. Can we turn off Smart ASS? Are we going to fall the right way still? I think so. Yeah, we're still very heavy. That's good. I was a little wondering because of the tank. Oh, it's empty. Yeah, of course. Why am I worrying about that? We literally just emptied it. Yeah, of course we're bottom heavy still. We've burned all the weight in the top. Apart from maybe the docking port, but I don't think they're super heavy. They're not light, but they're not awful. Very short re-entry because we're coming in quite steep. Barely even burned up any ablator. Ships deploy. Let's set them to be maximum spread angle, just to make sure they don't collide with each other. I wonder if you could use that to steer yourself, whether it actually changes where the drag comes from, and if you could use that to steer yourself a little bit on landing. I'm actually kind of curious about that. There goes the rest of it. Interestingly enough, I think it survived re-entry. I think we're actually going slow enough it didn't get burned up. Kerbal's atmosphere is sometimes extremely unforgiving and sometimes actually surprisingly forgiving. We'll let you get away with a lot of stupid stuff. It's been a little bit of a longer episode, but I figured since it was the first one back, I was okay with that. Most of them I'll try and keep to sort of half-hour length. Hopefully you've enjoyed yourselves today. As I usually say in these videos, I am a games developer, so if you want to support the channel, absolute best way, apart from likes, comments, subscription, all that, is to check the description and take a look at the games I've made. You might enjoy some of them. There is a bit of space in one of them, and the other one's a bit of an RPG that's been rather well reviewed actually from the people that have covered it. I've been actually quite surprised by how nice people have been about it. It's nice, and I have been running some patches. There were it wasn't without flaws. I have had to do some work and get them working at their best. What's the default angle? 7? Actually, a bit curious about this now. Oh, there was enough space. There were a good enough angle to actually not collide anyway. Oh, cool. And any second now. Nice and slow. Sploosh. Crew report. Oh, I guess the tourists don't count as a manned crew pod. RIP. They don't exist. You Kerbals do not exist. You couldn't even ask the tourists to be like, hey, what's the water like out there, guys? But right, we'll grab our reward, and we shall finish up. Okay, no science. A little bit of funds recovered. Tourists have leveled up. And we got some money for our contracts. 500,000 almost. And 150,000. Right, that's what I'll call it. Bye, YouTube. I'll see you all next time.